These are the questions we have. And these are the floorings that we were offered.
Okay.
We had a standard, anytime there's a zero cost, that was the standard that came with the unit.
Okay.
And if there's a cost, that was an optional upgrade that we could have. So I don't know if you were here when the building was built.
I was not. That wasn't the commercial side of it.
Okay.
So I kind of took over as everything got done.
Okay. Are you still commercial?
I do some commercial, yeah, but that's not my forte.
Okay. Hi, Sherry. Grab a chair. Good morning. Is this on, Bob?
I don't know. That one's different than the other ones.
Oh, good.
The other ones are all on.
Good morning, everyone. This is the long-awaited meeting of the Replacement and Refurbishment Committee. Today, we are gathered to talk about flooring. And we do have a business agenda, but I'm going to set that aside. We have Dave from ValuPlus Flooring here with us. Dave, you have your very own microphone.
Thank you.
And after our meeting, he is going to be visiting a few units where there have been some issues, fortunately, mostly minor, with flooring, and he's going to take a look and see what he can do. So some of you who are listening in today may be expecting him a little later. We have a list of questions that we had put together for this presentation. The main purpose of the session is to understand what we have, how it was installed, what we can expect from it in terms of wear in a setting such as this one, because life expectancy is very important to us in our financial planning. What can you tell us about what we have in terms of, let's start with the hard surface flooring, which is a Congolium sheet vinyl. And I will tell you that there probably isn't a whole lot of that in the building. Most people upgraded to LVT.
Okay.
But where does it fit on a scale of quality and popularity in buildings such as this?
Popularity wise, it's kind of a standard. It's cheaper than LVP. Not as easy to repair as LVP. The glue down click. If you get a glue down LVP, you get the tear one up, replace it. The sheet vinyl, a little harder to do. But the sheet vinyl's cheaper, still a good product, and still available as well.
Okay, great. So that is still available to us. And
And
it is glued down, you said.
Yeah, I believe I've ran into some that are click at one of your other properties. That's a little harder to repair.
Okay.
There was a water issue and some water got underneath it,
Oh,
started bubbling up.
all right. Can you explain click?
Click is, it's a click floor. It comes together. It's not glued down. It's a floating floor, which has a pad underneath it. So it's a floating floor. A lot harder to replace than glue down. As in glue down, you can rip one piece up, glue it again. Click is a little harder to repair.
Now, are we still talking about the sheet vinyl?
Nope.
No, now, okay.
We're still
Let's
talking about plank.
stick with the sheet vinyl for a minute, just so
Okay.
we understand. That is always glued down, is it?
Correct.
The sheet is always glued down.
Sheet is always glued down. Correct.
Typically, if you want to install a new floor, do you pull that up?
Not necessarily. If it is a click floor, if it's floating, yes, you have
No,
to.
I'm talking about the sheet vinyl.
If it's a sheet vinyl, you can go over it.
You go over it.
You can go over it. Yep.
Okay.
Probably about 2-3 times over.
2-3 times.
Yep.
All right.
Yep. as long as there's no damage. You can emboss, which is just a skim coat on top, so nothing penetrates through to the new sheet vinyl, and you can go over it, correct?
All right. So what we would be seeing here typically would be sheet vinyl
Okay,
being overlaid with LVT.
okay.
And how thick is the sheet vinyl?
Oh, that's a good question. I don't know that answer.
Okay,
That's something I can find out for you.
all right. But there's no padding underneath it,
No padding. It's underlayment, which is quarter thick, and then just sheet vinyl over your normal subfloor.
All right. What about gypcrete? It's our understanding that the subfloor here is coated with gypcrete.
Okay. Yep. So the gypcrete, we don't put underlayment over that. It's a skim coat process, and we put the sheet vinyl over the top of that.
Just right over it, but with
Right over.
with an
Yep.
adhesive.
Yes.
Are
Correct.
there special adhesives that you can use that come up more easily?
No, it's pretty standard.
Okay,
It's pretty standard.
so we would typically be looking at sheet vinyl floor on gypcrete with the subflooring underneath. And we come along with our LVT and we lay that over the sheet vinyl. But the LVT is most likely going to be a click, as you call it. Tongue and groove type of a,
Yes. Yep.
okay.
Yep. But there is, I believe, I don't know if you guys had I don't see anything on here.
We do have some grouted vinyl tile.
You do.
Yes.
Okay. Okay. So that's something to look at, because I ran into a click, but I've ran into a lot of glue downs.
Okay. Are the grouted vinyl tiles glued down?
Correct.
All right. Okay. So we have three different scenarios here as I see it. Any questions from Sandy?
Do we know?
Grab a microphone.
Do we know gypcrete is what we have? I mean, how do we know that?
Good question. I'm
And
trying
if we didn't
thinking
have-
back to where I picked that up.
Okay, and if we didn't have gypcrete, what would we have?
Probably just the bare
A wood.
plywood.
Wood substrate. Yep.
Yeah.
And I'm pretty sure every building I've dealt with has gypcrete, and most of them are built that way nowadays.
Okay, and then I'm not quite clear. Did we all get vinyl put down, and then those of us who went for vinyl plank got that put over it, or did the vinyl plank go down over
No,
just
it
over?
was an option. Do you have the worksheet? Let me-
Okay, I got that. I just thought
Okay.
maybe I misheard what you said.
No,
So,
the standard was sheet vinyl. That was the $0 line item on the worksheet.
yep,
And then we had the options of a vinyl tile, non-grouted, quarter turn. I think that means the edge of it.
It was quarter turn, meaning it was put in sideways.
Okay. Okay, sideways to what?
So I'd have to look at
Yeah.
your style.
Some of the different ones that we
Yeah,
have.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. I know I have the non-grouted in my kitchen and it's planks that interlock.
Okay.
So there's no visible
Grout line.
grout line. But then in the bathroom, we have the grouted vinyl tile.
Okay.
And that looks like ceramic tile with a grout,
Okay.
it definitely has a grout in there. So we had choices of the standard sheet vinyl. We had grouted vinyl tile. We had vinyl tile that wasn't grouted. And then we had a wood look vinyl plank flooring. Now this is for the kitchen. We could also choose engineered hardwood.
Okay.
So we had really 4 different styles of materials and products. And I'm thinking we have 4 different types of installation. And
Yeah, absolutely. Mhm.
where this comes into play for us is we've had a few people who have said, well, I really don't like this floor, and they want to do something different.
Okay,
And we've been concerned about the installation.
okay,
So far, I think every new install has gone over the existing install.
okay.
We've had water damage, we've had decorating issues. There haven't been a lot of them, just a few.
Okay. Okay.
All right,
I'd have one more question.
go ahead.
So how do we know if we got glued down vinyl plank or click?
That's something I would have to look at. You can kind of come up there, you can tap your finger a little bit. You can hear that hollowness when you tap your finger on there. But it's something that I would need to inspect more than giving you an answer, unless you're taking up our baseboard and looking from it that way, or else if you have a heat register that you could take up and see. That's an easy way to look too.
Yeah, they're all around the ceiling, around the soffit area, so
Okay.
that doesn't work. Would it be safe to say that if you have grout lines, it's glued down? If you do not have grout lines, it's tongue and groove, click together.
Yeah, that's another tough question. As in, I would probably have to look at that.
Okay, Okay.
That's something, because it could vary, unless I look at it. I don't want to give you a false answer to that.
all right. Any other questions regarding the various vinyl floors? How about questions on engineered hardwood? It was offered as an option for the kitchen. I forgot to announce, please silence all electronic devices. Thank you. Engineered hardwood was offered as an option for our kitchens. And then on the first floor, people could have it 100%
Throughout.
the entire,
Okay.
throughout the entire unit.
Okay.
I assume that's a click style.
Correct. Some engineered, you can glue, tongue groove and glue. So that's a float. I'm guessing here it's all going to be float or glue down, because you're not nailing to gypcrete. So
Yeah, okay.
it could be done two ways.
That reminds me of a question. When an old floor is taken up, is there a risk of damaging the gypcrete?
There is. With any gypcrete, you have problems with glue being used, because of when you're tearing something up, some of that gypcrete could come up. So you have prep involved. Maybe not. I've come across where you take up a unit and you need about 7 hours of prep time,
Wow.
just because the gypcrete came up with it.
Oh, okay. Peels up.
Peels up. Yep. Cracks. That's another scenario when the actual installer comes out and starts tearing that up. That's kind of when we can see it, unless you feel it as you're walking on your sheet vinyl or your LVP, where you can feel some divots or something,
Okay.
like a soft spot.
Just for those at home or in the audience who may have missed the gypcrete discussions earlier in the fall, gypcrete is a slurry. It's made of gypsum, sand, concrete, and Portland cement, actually, and water. And it is spread on the subflooring right over the plywood. And it forms a seal that is somewhat fire resistant and also sound absorbent. It's used very commonly in multifamily buildings. And we were alerted by another cooperative that replaced the carpet in their great room, and we'll get to carpet installation in a minute here, that they got a financial surprise when they pulled up the old carpet and damaged the gypcrete in the process and had to repair it in a room, large like this one. And it was quite costly. So that's something that we're kind of aware of. Back to engineered hardwood. Would anyone like to ask the question? Okay, I know it's floating around out there. We've had a few people in the upper floors who've said, hey, I really would like to get rid of this carpet. My allergies are bothering me and so on and so forth. Would it be possible to put engineered hardwood throughout an upper story unit using some type of an underlayment, a padding that would absorb the sound?
Yeah, there is. There's a couple different pads you can use that would absorb something. I don't know if you have a certain degree of like a threshold for something in the upper levels
Of sound?
Yes. I usually, in a lot of condos, we do a certain pad that is required.
Okay, so it is done.
It is done.
It is done.
Correct. Yep.
All right.
Yep.
Yes.
All right, that brings the related question. If you didn't want engineered hardwood, but wanted luxury vinyl tile or the planks, how would that be different from doing engineered hardwood?
Now, there's two scenarios again with the LVP. That's a click. That had the floating click it has a pad underneath it, so that helps with the noise variance. The LVP with the glue down does not. Obviously, you're going to hear a lot more. So I suggest if you wanted an LVP, which is a cheaper option than engineered wood, there's a way of doing that too as well, because there is a pad underneath there as well.
Okay, that's the answer I was looking for.
Okay, good to know.
Thanks.
Right, and today's tiles, there are some that look so much like wood, you really have a hard time telling the difference. Others are obviously fake, but if you choose wisely and put a pad under it, that might be a possibility. Are you aware of any engineering studies where they've come up with the sound quality? I saw one for one of our residents put in a luxury vinyl tile that was about 5/8 of an inch thick because it had a rubberized pad on the back of it, manufactured by US Rubber. And she provided the studies, and it was very effective sound study-wise. And I've checked with the people who live below her and they don't hear a thing. So I think done well, that sort of a system.
Sure. Yeah, that's something I can definitely look into. I don't do a lot of that.
Okay.
Okay. There's a certain grade that I do for condos in Minneapolis and other places that need to meet a threshold for noise variance, and that's kind of where we go.
Is that a code?
That's a code. That's a code.
We could look into that.
Yeah, that's a code Minneapolis has, and I think it's only Minneapolis.
All right. If we knew what it was, though, it might give us a benchmark.
Yeah, and that's something that can get you that information.
I'd appreciate that.
Yeah.
We would appreciate that. All righty. Any other questions regarding vinyl floors? Let me take a quick look at our list here. What's just the absolute best in vinyl floors? Is it a particular brand or particular type?
There's so many out there now. It seems like every company has come up with one. There's my certain go-tos, just because of the reps that stand behind their products, and anything goes wrong, they're 100% behind me on anything that does go wrong with these planks. But there's really not. I mean, 8.0 millimeter is your pretty much your thickest pad. 20 mil wear layer, which is the top layer, which helps with scratches. That's your commercially rated wear layer. You can go higher than that, but I think it's a little overkill. I suggest that for people that, have dogs, have kids, a lot of traffic, but 8mm, 20mm wear layer is a good go-to start.
What about vinyl floor as an appropriate floor for senior citizens when we're looking at walkers and wheelchairs in our future? Are there certain types that are better for that sort of a?
No, again, it's kind of the same answer because everybody is doing kind of the same thing with LVP. There's a lot of different ones, but obviously it's the wear layer, again, with the walkers rubbing against that. So the higher the wear layer, the better.
Okay.
The lower the wear layer, you're going to start seeing marks from that eventually. But yeah, the short answer is the higher the wear layer, the better.
Okay. All right. How long can you expect vinyl floors to last and look nice?
I would say, obviously it's the way you take care of them, right?
Okay.
So I would say 10 to 15 years, easy.
Okay.
They haven't been around that long, so it's hard to say. But I would say that's a good starting point if you're taking care of your floors.
What do you recommend for care?
It's usually water and vinegar.
Okay.
That's another question when I go to people's homes or condos. Usually when they pick out the LVP, I have my rep send them kind of a maintenance package for taking care of the floors and what to do and what not to keep the best upkeep of that floor.
All right. Any other questions on vinyl? How about from the audience while we're on this topic? Yes.
Would you explain what LVT is?
Luxury vinyl tile, as opposed to a sheet of linoleum like your grandma had. Yeah. Yeah. Luxury vinyl tile. And it comes in pieces, planks or like tiles. And a lot of us have it in this building. There are a few people who put sheet vinyl in their laundry rooms as an example.
Yeah.
Yeah. Connie, did you have a question?
I do. Many of us have the vinyl plank flooring, like in our kitchen. And I wondered, do we know if we have a padding under that vinyl plank flooring in our kitchen?
That's the same question that you had. It's kind of it's hard to tell. Like I said, unless you have an actual vent there where you can pop the vent up and look underneath, whether it has some padding or if it's glued down, it's kind of hard to tell. That's something that usually when I get up there, I can tell that.
Okay, thank you.
Yep.
Ron, did you have a question?
Yes, I have I think it's the LVP, and it got a couple little holes in the thing. And it happened shortly after we moved in, and my wife tends to drop things, but I'm trying to figure out how durable is this stuff, because it's just like maybe a ½ inch long and an 1/8 of an inch wide.
That varies. I'd have to get specs on your particular unit and what you got put in, because it does vary with the thickness, with the wear layer. Nothing's indestructible, right? So it matters what you're dropping on that floor.
A
as well.
follow-up to that, can you take out sections and replace them?
You can,
Okay.
correct.
That's the beauty of the luxury vinyl tile. And we ran into that even before we moved in and the contractor had already spotted, a couple places in the kitchen. We, for the kitchen, we selected that really dark Spanish cherry that was kind of popular at the time. Well, it turns out to be kind of soft, and they had damaged it in the construction process, and they simply removed you know, the damaged tiles and replaced them with new ones. In the bathrooms, we used the grouted vinyl tile, and that is hard as cement. I mean, when you tap on it, it is hard. That'll probably be there forever. Yeah. Anybody?
Yes, I'd like to
Russ?
clarify if I heard right. We can put a hardwood floor on top of carpeting?
Oh, no.
No.
No, we're strictly on vinyl surfaces right now.
Okay.
Vinyl, and we've talked about engineered hardwood too.
All right.
Yeah. Which raises the question, could you put engineered hardwood over LVT?
Usually you don't want to.
Okay,
You want to take that up just because if any LVT, any piece fails, any adhesive fails, that floor is going to
would be
fail.
under there. And the beauty of the LVT click sections is you can pop those out
Well,
pretty readily. Yeah.
correct. To answer that again, it's the LVP that is glued down
Mhm.
is the easy one. To take one piece out, replace it.
Okay.
The one that clicks together,
Oh, yeah.
that's a little harder. Now you got to start from one corner. If there's a damaged piece in the middle of your floor, you're moving out half of your floor. If you
Yeah.
have a click, a
Yeah.
floating
Yep.
LVP.
I can
If you
see
have a
that.
glue down, a lot easier.
A lot easier. All
Correct.
right.
Yep.
I think the bottom line is we'd have to take each case by case and get them to come
Yeah.
in and take a look and analyze it.
Mhm.
I can think of one last question. There were concerns, especially in the beginning. A lot of us in our bathrooms have a gap between the baseboard
Okay.
and the shoe molding, or it
Okay.
isn't shoe molding, it's just plain molding.
Plain molding. Okay.
A gap between that and the edge of the vinyl.
Okay. Are we talking LVP or are we talking sheet vinyl? Do you know?
LVT.
LVT? Okay. That's something that sounds like some kind of a, because that vinyl shrinks as well.
Mhm.
So that's what it sounds like to me.
Okay. I asked one of the installers who was in the building
Mhm.
later, and he explained that some of the manufacturers actually require, I thought he said 3/4 inch gap
Yeah.
on the edge for expansion.
It's not that big of a gap, but they do need that. But
Okay.
obviously that sounds like an issue because with your baseboard, it shouldn't be coming up from that. You shouldn't see a gap from there.
Right.
It should still be underneath that gap, should be underneath that baseboard.
Looking at it, I think that was the intent. It just happens that we have extremely thin baseboard.
Okay.
And what some residents have done is had shoe molding put
Sure.
in, which looks like quarter round.
Mhm.
There's
big
none in
shoe.
here because of the carpet, but if you look in your kitchen, under your cabinet, there's just a little quarter round, a little piece, looks like a quarter of a circle set in there, and you can get that to put in your bathroom. I have noticed that in ours, the gap is bigger in the wintertime, which makes sense because
sense.
it's cold and
Shrinks.
dry. Yeah.
Mhm.
In the summer, it closes up a little bit.
Correct. Yeah.
So it's there.
Mary Ann,
For a reason. Yes, Dick?
Yeah, you mentioned, I think I understood, so I'm going to start out with a question, that you can put layers over existing
Sheet vinyl.
sheet vinyl.
Correct.
Okay, when you do that
Mhm.
and you're build it up and you butt up against carpeting, like say if you do something in a bathroom,
Mhm.
is that going to end up with a rise, like you've almost stepping up into it? It can, or can you make it nice and even,
You
even
can make,
after 2 or 3 layers?
you can make it nice and even because the transition piece that goes from your vinyl to your carpet, they
Okay,
take that transition piece up
yes,
and they put it over your new vinyl. So
okay.
it's kind of you
So
can't tell.
Oh, you
much
can't
difference.
tell, okay,
No.
because after you do it a couple of times, it's gonna go, what, that's gonna be at least a
It-
quarter
It's
inch,
minimal. It's
Yeah.
not that much because sheet vinyl's
Yeah.
pretty thin.
but like maybe a quarter inch, so if
Oh,
you did it
yeah,
twice,
maybe. Yep.
you'd be up a half inch from where you are presently,
Probably a quarter inch.
probably quarter
Quarter.
inch,
Yeah.
okay.
Yep.
Even with 2 layers, huh?
Yeah. Yep.
Okay,
Yeah, not a
And-
half an inch.
yeah.
The last LVT that came into the building as a bathroom add-on was so incredibly thin, I would say an eighth of an inch. It reminded me of the cardboard on the back of a tablet. You could
Yeah.
actually flap it.
Okay.
You know, it was a
Sure.
long, you could actually flap the thing. It was so thin. So,
The other question I had just was in the quality, you mentioned the noise and so forth, how
Mhm.
the quality, when you talk about, let's say, the third or fourth floor, and you would go from carpeting to one of these products,
Mhm.
how would you rate, would the quality be as good or better? Or would the quality of the noise, or would it be better or a little bit worse?
It would be worse.
It would be worse. So
Absolutely.
carpeting is definitely the
The-
most,
Yes, for sound variants, yeah. I mean, the carpet's soft, right?
yeah.
And you put any hard surface in, you're gonna get that click
It's-
clack.
Yeah, okay, so
So it's
it's-
gonna definitely be worse.
it's better than what old products are, but not as good as carpeting. Is that a
Correct.
better way to? say it?
Correct, yep.
Okay.
Yep. And I
That
don't
answers
think
my question.
anything will ever be as good. I
Yeah,
don't think. I mean,
yeah.
For
a
some
hard
people.
surface is a hard surface. So you're gonna always hear that.
Thank you.
Yeah.
That's what I
Yep.
was looking for.
yes.
I missed the first part. I missed the first part of the
Well,
session,
that's
but
your fault.
I know it's my fault. I'm a day late and a dollar short. You were talking about measurements of how thick things are, and do we have any idea what our standard?
The sheet vinyl is thin. I don't
It
know.
was thin compared to what
Compared,
he would
well,
have?
you
Or
know, it's thin compared to some other products. And the range of what you can buy, you know, I don't know if you were here when I was telling about the, you know, we had a vinyl replacement in 322 when it changed hands. That is vinyl with a fairly thick rubber attached underlayment. So that total product was good half-inch thick. Yeah, so it
Yeah.
varies from the one I flapped to one that was perfectly rigid,
So most of what we would have would be the kind you could flap.
most likely.
Okay.
And most glue downs are
Most glue downs are.
that
yeah.
way. Yeah.
How did that match up to the carpeting when it's a half inch?
Just fine.
It did,
Yeah, just fine. Because the original was a sheet vinyl and it was very thin.
okay.
Yeah. No, it's,
So it
it's,
had plenty of room to do
yep,
that.
had plenty of room and it's beautiful stuff. Yeah. Yeah. Okey doke. Well, should we move on to carpet? What are we standing on here?
This looks like a broadloom carpet, commercial. Yeah, I thought it was maybe carpet tile, but it looks like 12-foot goods here.
Okay. Is this glued down?
This
do you
is
think?
glued down,
This is
correct?
glued down.
Mhm.
So we better take good care of it. Yeah. What do you recommend for cleaning this type of commercial?
That I'm not an expert of. We're a floor installing company, not a
Mhm.
cleaning company.
Okay.
But I do have a lot of references for that. And again, it's more water, warm water again.
Okay.
Matters what it is and matters what you had put in. Some carpets are easier to clean than others.
Great.
The fibers of carpet. Polyester is a very cleanable carpet. Nylon, not as cleanable, but more durable. There's a newer one, Smart Strand, that you can mix bleach with and get stains out.
Yike.
So
Okay. Do you think this might be nylon?
I believe so.
All right.
For a building like this and for them not to go with nylon would be kind of silly. This is a busy area. There's probably some traffic going through and in and out of here. So,
It's mostly
I'm pretty
moving
sure.
furniture around.
okay.
We're going to wear it out.
So you
during
want
the-
something durable, which
Yes.
nylon is, and I'm sure
Yes.
that's what this is. And that's something you can't just look at and tell whether it's a nylon or a polyester.
Do you know if there might be a pad under this?
I know that there's not.
There is not.
There's not. This is
Okay.
a glue down. This is a
Glue
glue
down.
down. carpet.
Okay,
Yeah.
that would make sense. Now, in our units, the standard was a plush. And it's the Shaw Peachtree one. I looked online and it appears to still be available.
It is. Last time I've done it at an Applewood community, it was available. That was probably 4 months ago.
Okay,
Hard to say nowadays what's going to stay, what's going to go. All of a sudden we get a letter that this is going to be a drop within 2 months, or it's hard to say, but it sounds like Peachtree is good to go for now.
and the upgrade was also a Peachtree,
Peachtree,
probably just thicker,
thicker, correct.
just
Mhm.
thicker.
Mhm,
Okay. And then some put in a pad,
mhm.
3/8 in, whoops, that's for the low profile. Okay, we had a standard 8-pound pad and then an upgrade 10-pound foam pad that we could select.
Mhm.
And so that would be in the individual units. Now, we were also offered some low profile, couple Rodeo Drive and Woodland Grove. And I wasn't able to find the manufacturers for those.
Yeah, that doesn't sound familiar to me.
Well, I think one of them at least has been discontinued.
Discontinued, okay.
Yeah, during a tour, the
Yeah.
salesperson said that, so. So we probably need to be looking for some low profiles to replace if someone chooses to do that, or of necessity. We've had a few water incidents where we've
Okay.
had to,
Okay,
to
and
do
and
some
that's definitely
replacing.
something I can bring some samples.
that would be great.
Yeah.
The peach tree is probably nylon, do you think? Or do you know?
I believe so. I'm not 100%, but I believe Peachtree is a nylon. And like you said, the 1 and 2 is just the 2 is a thicker, which I believe it's a 55 ounce, where the Peachtree 1 is a 40 ounce. I'm not 100% whether it's a nylon or a polyester, but that's something I can find out for you.
Okay. What about the supply chain issues right now? Are you able to get product?
We are. Carpet is pretty normal. It's the LVP that's hard to get. But it's the 2 millimeter LVP, which is made in China. That's the ones that are very hard to get, which I don't think you guys deal with a lot of 2 millimeter thickness. You guys you guys deal with more of an upgraded LVP. Which is a hit and miss on what color you pick, what manufacturer. It's hard to say. Some are 10 to 14 days, some are a month out.
Right.
So
In most of the older Applewoods, do you know if they keep samples on hand in the property manager's office?
correct. That's
typical.
yeah, that's typical. Every time I've visited, I've seen samples sitting there, and it makes things a lot easier for tenants, I guess, if they're looking at changing out. You already have them on site and they can pick out a color.
Okay, we're only 2.5 years old, so
Do you have
The-
any samples here?
I don't believe we do. Do we,
Okay.
Jake? We do?
In the office.
Samples of the old stuff, or
Correct.
the original?
Of the spec'd out
He
stuff?
says yes.
Okay.
Okay, that's good to know.
Okay.
All right, well, sometime in the year to come, we'll want to take a look at what we have versus what you might recommend.
Absolutely, and get you some.
There's no,
If the low profiles are, if they're dropped, I can bring you some samples.
Great.
So you guys have
okay.
options for that.
I'd say
as well.
like in about April, we'd want to take a look.
Okay.
Hopefully by that time, things will have loosened up a little
Mm.
bit. There's no urgency right now because, as I said, the replacing that we're doing is largely due to water damage or some
Okay.
incident
Sure.
and it's partial replacement, not a full.
Yeah,
Not a full
you guys are
replacement.
only 2 years old.
2.5
so,
years
yeah.
old, right? Anything else? I'm glancing at our question list here.
Marianne, what is the expected longevity of these products?
You're just asking so long.
Oh,
the LVP, like I said, 10 to 15 years. Matters how you take care of it, matters, it comes back to the wear layer, the top layer on the LVP, what you had. And like we said, every unit is different. Everybody picked out something different. That's something that, you know, if you picked out a 6 to 12 mil wear layer product, that's going to be a shorter lifespan than a 20 mil, a commercially rated LVP. So that's going to be a kind of an answer for each unit, each spec'd out LVP that everybody has. Same with the carpet. Get a little thicker carpet, you're gonna expect a little more wear layer or wear on it than, you know, something that is a 40 ounce, like the Peachtree one. This next to the Peachtree 2. So it just kind of matters too, as how you take care of it. Obviously, are you vacuuming regularly?
We're going to have a wide variation here too, because we have people who are gone for 3 months, 2 months, 6 months. And then we have people who are here, you know, 100% of the time, 2 people in a unit, 1 person in a unit. So it's just going to vary all over the map.
Yeah.
My interest is primarily for the reserve study, which is a budgeting tool, you know, to help us know when we're going to get hit. And I think experience is going to help. Talking with other cooperatives, they typically will make changes in things like flooring when the unit turns, which means when the membership is sold. And that's a perfect time to do it because there's no furniture in there, which is a big deal to move. Yeah.
You just said the LVT's longevity was 10 to 15 years. Is it the same for carpeting? Or is that a different span?
No, it is. If you have a nylon, that's the standard with a nylon. A polyester, if you have a polyester fiber in your apartment, that's going to always tend to wear worse than nylon is.
Okay.
So again, we're going back to the Peachtree, which I believe is a nylon, which is kind of your standard. These aren't cheap products that you guys have here.
Okay, good to know.
So you guys you're gonna have good wear on whether it's LVP or the carpet. And the sheet vinyl, that wears like iron unless you tear it, rip it. That should wear forever. And that always looks good. I see people always just trending out of the sheet vinyl just because it gets outdated. So they just want to upgrade a little bit. But these products that you have in here for LVP and carpet that I've come across are nice products. You're not expecting 5 years and, you know, and done. So, and again, it comes to how you take care of it. So.
Hold up, Jay. Hold up, Jay, so everyone can hear.
Our standard Peachtree or whatever you call it.
The carpet. Mhm.
Yeah, is that the 8, what do you call it, 8 pound or 8?
No, that we were talking about, that was the pad. That was the padding that you
Okay.
had. The options. You had a 3/8 pad, which I never recommend for residential. That's more of a apartment grade pad. So 3/8 is a pretty low padding, which will make your carpet wear down quicker just because you don't have that nice support with the better pad. So the better pad you get will also help that carpet out in the long run.
Yeah, we took a standard carpet with an upgraded pad. What does,
There you go.
how much would that?
No, that's a hard
Average,
question.
we're average walkers.
Yeah, right.
So to
And
say,
so
quit running back and forth.
it does help. It definitely does help. I mean, the pad, you know, the more dense it is, the more it's going to help that carpet wear. It's not going to be bouncing up and down like on a 3/8 standard pad, where you're just going to get a lot of cush, and it's gonna wear down eventually, quicker than with a nicer pad. And that's what I suggest. You spend a little less on carpet, just go a little more on the padding
Yeah.
because it will help.
All right. Well, we can let you go. I know
Wait,
you're
wait,
going to
wait.
visit some units.
Wait. Another question, Sandy.
Oh, okay, over here.
Could you just talk to trends? Like,
Oh,
are
yes.
people doing a lot of carpet? Are people doing a lot of vinyl?
People are definitely steering towards LVP. That's why everybody's getting into it or already is into it. That's why there's so many LVP companies now. It's more LVP. That's what everybody's doing. It's cheaper than engineered wood. It looks nice, a lot cheaper, and obviously it just tends to wear better than carpet does, look better longer, and just the looks are, they've come a long way with these looks on this LVP. So yeah, it's definitely the LVP. That's where everybody's trending. It's usually LVP throughout, and then carpet in the bedrooms. That's what I see a lot of. Yeah.
Okay, last call.
So the noise factor on the LBT
Mhm.
for your main area,
Mm-hmm.
is that similar to the carpet with the padding or no?
No.
That's what you said. It
Yep.
will still be noise.
Yeah, since it's a hard surface, you're gonna hear that.
Okay, thank you.
It's gonna be a lot more echoey in your unit as well. So carpet's always the best option for that noise variance, but yeah.
All right. Well, we thank you very much for
Absolutely.
coming. We're looking forward to getting more information and we'll be in touch.
Yeah,
in
you
the
let me know.
year to
Thank
come.
you guys for having me.
All
Yeah.
right. Jake, are you escorting him? Okay. Well, we'll switch gears here. You sure may. Absolutely. Thank you. Thanks. Okay, let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4. There are 4 of us here, so we do have a quorum. Therefore, we can have a business meeting. Tom has a standing commitment over at the senior center on Wednesday mornings. And Ken, I don't know if Ken is listening in, but if he is, we wish him well. He's convalescing in Nashville and had probably the ultimate worst experience that you can have traveling. Only good news was that he was in Nashville and not Nigeria. So Ken, if you're out there, get well and come home. We need you. All right. The minutes from the last meeting, the November 1st meeting, that was the meeting where we thought we were going to have the presentation, and 10 to 10, we found out we weren't. So we became very creative and we simply revised the unit betterment request process in our spare time. And that did pass. The board has approval, and it's the new form, and the instructions that go with it are out on the website. Is there a motion to approve the minutes from the November 1st meeting? It seems so long ago. Sherry? Sherry moves that the minutes be approved. Ron seconds. All in favor? Raise your hand. It's unanimous. All right, the minutes are approved. The, let's see. Jake has left us. He was going to give me a report on work orders, but he forgot. So that takes care of those 2 things. My golly, I think we're nearly done. Can anybody think of anything we need to address? I'll give you a status report on the document that we were working on that would describe the entire replacement process. We did have a working meeting back, seems like eons ago, but it was sometime within the month of November. We sat down and we had a writing party, and we worked on this little guide that we're putting together, which emulates guides that we've seen from other cooperatives. Ken has nicknamed it the Triple R, guide, it's replacement, refurbishment, and we folded in repairs. Now, repairs are not generally our concern, but we did at one point put out a list of tasks that a person should perform if they were having some difficulties with any fixtures in their units. There seemed to be some confusion as to what was the member's responsibility and what was the cooperative's responsibility. And putting out that guide has helped enormously. No one has stopped me in the hall now for a long time to ask what to do about this, that, or the other thing. Everyone knows now, turn in a work order right away and get it addressed. But we'll get back to that in the new year too. Our next meeting would have been the first Monday in January, which is January 3rd. And that didn't sound like a very good idea to me. So unless someone can think of a compelling reason to have a meeting in January, we'll take a break. Any thoughts? Take a break. I agree. I'm ready. All right. So our next meeting will be February 7th, and that will be a Zoom only because some of us are going to be in warm places. And so we'll get Jake to set it up as Zoom, and we'll use that meeting to organize ourselves for the year to come and address any issues that have come up in the meantime. Is there anything else? Bob, were you able to capture the essence of what Dave reported? Sort of?
Kind of, sort of.
Okay. Well, maybe we can each take some time and go back through this list of questions and jot down the answers that we thought we heard and compile a little bit. But I think the bottom line is that we have such a variety of situations here that you can't make any hard and fast pronouncements that people are going to have to just address each one individually if they do have an inclination to replace something. All right, is there a motion to adjourn? Ron moves that we adjourn. Is there a second? Sherry, thank you. All in favor? Aye. So the meeting is adjourned, and we wish you a very, very Merry Christmas and a healthy, happy New Year. And hopefully there won't be any new epidemics or pandemics or anything else we have to worry about. And all the floors will stay in one piece. Okay, thank you.
By the green thing, right below the green.
There's no other meeting this afternoon.
Let's see, it's luncheon for the Bible study, and they will set up a room themselves.
No, we're talking about putting.
Okay.
Yeah.
Put the mics up here.
Over vinyl. He said, yeah, you can do that pretty much. Trend is for luxury vinyl. Carpet is always white. No specifics of what we have here.